Most people assume that losing eyesight as you get older is simply unavoidable. You visit your doctor, they tell you it is a natural part of aging. You go home, get a new prescription, and accept it. But there is something that very few people have ever been told, and that is a significant portion of vision decline in older adults does not come from age alone. It also comes from what you eat, or what you are not eating, every single day. This is not a new theory. Researchers at Harvard University followed tens of thousands of people over several decades and found that those who had diets rich in certain specific nutrients had significantly lower risks of developing age-related eye diseases compared to everyone else. The thing is, those nutrients do not come from expensive supplements or exotic superfoods. They come from very ordinary things, foods you may have eaten before and then stopped because you never realized how important they actually were. In today's video, we are going to go through each specific food, why it works for your eyes, and the simplest way to bring it into your daily meals without completely changing your routine. If you are somewhere between 55 and 70 years old and you have started noticing your vision is not as sharp as it used to be, this is the video you need to watch all the way through. Why your eyes decline as you age. Before we talk about food, there is something important you need to understand about how your eyes change over time. Inside your eye, there is an extremely sensitive area called the macula. This is the center of your sharp vision, the part that lets you read, recognize the faces of the people you love, and drive safely. When you are young, this area is protected by a natural layer of pigment that your body builds up from the food you eat, but as the years pass, that protective layer gets thinner. Blue light from screens, sunlight, and free radicals that accumulate in the body begin attacking the cells of the macula directly. This is one of the main causes of age-related macular degeneration, also known as AMD, which is the leading cause of permanent vision loss in Americans over 60. According to the National Eye Institute, more than 11 million Americans are currently living with this condition, and that number is expected to double by the year 2050. That may sound alarming, but this is not a reason to feel hopeless. This is exactly the reason to understand what you can do right now, because science also shows that what you eat can significantly slow that process down. And the most important thing to know is that starting earlier is better, but starting late is still far better than never starting at all. Food number 1. Dark leafy greens. If you could only choose one food group for the health of your eyes, it would be dark leafy greens. Kale, spinach, collard greens, these are not new or exotic, but they contain two nutrients that your eyes depend on more than almost anything else, and those are lutein and zeaxanthin. These two nutrients are the very building blocks of that protective pigment layer in the macula I just mentioned. Your body cannot make them on its own. You have to get them from food. The AREDS-2 study, conducted by the National Eye Institute on more than 4,000 people, found that those with higher levels of lutein and zeaxanthin in their blood had up to 25% lower risk of progressing to advanced macular degeneration. That is a very real number, not a lab result, but an outcome measured in thousands of real people living their everyday lives. The simplest way to get these two nutrients is to eat about 1 cup of cooked spinach or about half a cup of kale each day. Interestingly, cooking these greens actually allows your body to absorb lutein better than eating them raw. And if you add a little olive oil or avocado, absorption increases even more because lutein is fat-soluble. That means a simple pan of spinach, lightly sautéed with garlic and olive oil, is not just a good meal. It is genuinely one of the best things you can put on your plate for your eyes. Now, after leafy greens, the next food on this list might surprise you because it shows up in almost every American breakfast. Food number 2. Eggs. Eggs got a bad reputation for many years because of concerns about cholesterol, and many older adults still hesitate to eat them today, but the science has changed significantly over the last decade. And specifically for eye health, eggs are actually one of the best foods you can eat. The reason is that egg yolks contain lutein and zeaxanthin in a form that is highly bioavailable, meaning your body absorbs it even more efficiently than from greens. On top of that, eggs provide zinc, a mineral that helps transport vitamin A from your liver to your retina. When zinc levels are low, your eyes may struggle to adjust to dim lighting, which can show up as difficulty seeing at night, something many people chalk up to just getting older, but which can actually be improved with the right nutrition. You do not need to eat a lot. About 2 to 3 eggs per week is enough to make a meaningful difference. The key is to eat the whole egg, not just the whites, because every nutrient that benefits your eyes is concentrated in the yolk. This is a very small change to your breakfast routine that, over time, can make a real difference for your vision. Food number 3. Salmon and fatty fish. There is something else happening inside your eyes that most people never hear about, and that is low-level chronic inflammation. Not the kind you can feel as pain, but the kind that works at a cellular level, quietly accumulating day after day and slowly damaging the tissues in your eyes. Omega-3 fatty acids are among the most effective nutrients for fighting that process, and salmon, mackerel, and sardines are the best natural sources you can find. But beyond inflammation, your retina actually contains a high concentration of DHA, a specific omega-3 fatty acid, and your body needs a steady supply of it to maintain the structure and function of your retinal nerve cells. When DHA levels run low, those cells become less efficient, and over time that shows up as blurrier vision, reduced sharpness, and more difficulty in changing light conditions. Eating fatty fish at least twice a week is a recommendation from the American Heart Association, and the reasons go well beyond heart health. A single 3-ounce serving of salmon gives you enough DHA to cover your needs for the entire day. If you are not a fan of salmon, canned sardines are an excellent alternative. They are usually much more affordable, easy to find at any grocery store, and their omega-3 content is surprisingly high. Now that we have covered fish, let me tell you about a fruit that most people already have in their kitchen and very few realize has a direct connection to eye health. Food number 4. Carrots and foods rich in vitamin A. Carrots are good for your eyes. You have heard that since you were a child, but you may never have known exactly why, or why it matters even more at this stage of life. Carrots contain beta-carotene, a form of pre-vitamin A that your body converts into vitamin A as needed. Vitamin A is what your eyes use to produce rhodopsin, a pigment that is essential for seeing in low light. When vitamin A is low, your eyes take much longer to adjust when moving from a bright space to a dark one, like walking into a movie theater, driving after sunset, or getting up in the middle of the night to use the bathroom. These are exactly the situations where falls happen, and it is not always about weak legs. Sometimes it is simply because the eyes have not had time to adjust. Beyond carrots, sweet potatoes are actually an even richer source of beta-carotene. One medium sweet potato provides roughly double the vitamin A your body needs in an entire day. Butternut squash, red bell peppers, and cantaloupe are also very good options that are easy to find and enjoyable to eat. One thing worth noting is that if you are on blood thinners or have any liver-related health condition, talk to your doctor before taking vitamin A as a supplement, because high doses can cause issues. But from whole foods, it is completely safe, and your body will regulate how much it actually absorbs. Food number 5. Blueberries and anthocyanin-rich fruits. Now we come to one of the least talked about food groups when it comes to eye health, but one that actually has a very specific and unique benefit. Blueberries get their deep blue-purple color from a group of antioxidants called anthocyanins. These compounds help protect the tiny blood vessels inside your eyes, the ones your retina depends on to receive oxygen and nutrients. In older adults, especially those with diabetes or high blood pressure, these small vessels are particularly vulnerable to damage over time. Anthocyanins help reinforce and protect them. Some studies also suggest that anthocyanins may help the eyes adapt to darkness more quickly and reduce eye fatigue after extended screen time or reading. Just about half a cup of blueberries per day is enough to make a difference. If fresh blueberries are too expensive or not available where you live, frozen blueberries retain essentially the same nutritional value and are usually significantly cheaper. You can mix them into your morning oatmeal, blend them into a smoothie, or simply eat them as an afternoon snack. This is probably the smallest change on this entire list, and often the easiest one to stick to because it actually tastes good. Food number 6. Nuts and healthy oils. There is one more nutrient that very few people think about when it comes to eye health, and that is vitamin E. Vitamin E is a fat-soluble antioxidant, which means it protects the cellular structures inside your eyes from damage caused by free radicals, particularly the cells that are constantly exposed to light. As you get older, your body accumulates more free radicals. and its natural ability to neutralize them decreases. That is why getting enough vitamin E becomes increasingly important after the age of 55. Nuts like almonds, sunflower seeds, and Brazil nuts are excellent sources. Just 1 ounce of almonds, which is about 23 kernels, provides close to half of the vitamin E you need in a full day. Sunflower oil and olive oil are also good choices for everyday cooking. One thing worth mentioning is that many older adults still avoid healthy fats because of the low-fat messaging that was everywhere for decades. But healthy fats are not harmful. They are actually the vehicle your body uses to absorb fat-soluble vitamins, like vitamin E, vitamin A, and lutein. Cutting out healthy fat means you are blocking the absorption of some of the most important nutrients for your eyes. Something many people overlook: water and hydration. Before we get to the final part, there is one thing that seems obvious but directly affects how your eyes feel every single day, and that is water. Your eyes need moisture to function properly. When your body is dehydrated, your tear glands produce less fluid, which leads to dry eyes, that gritty, irritated feeling, occasional blurry vision, and redness. In older adults, the sensation of thirst tends to be less reliable than it was in younger years, meaning you may already be mildly dehydrated without even knowing it. A general target is around 8 glasses of water per day, but that is not a fixed rule for everyone. What matters more is drinking consistently throughout the day rather than drinking a large amount all at once. If you are taking diuretic medications or have kidney concerns, check with your doctor for a number that fits your specific situation. But as a general picture, chronic dry eyes are becoming more and more common in older adults, and a meaningful portion of those cases can be improved with something as simple as staying consistently hydrated. Eating habits to avoid. Along with what you should eat more of, there are a few things that, if you are currently eating in large amounts, may be quietly undoing the progress you are trying to make for your eye health. Processed foods and refined sugar are the two groups that deserve the most attention. A diet high in sugar and white starches causes rapid spikes in blood sugar, and those repeated spikes over time damage the small blood vessels in your eyes through a mechanism that closely resembles what happens in diabetes. In fact, even if you have never been diagnosed with diabetes, a high-sugar diet still causes chronic inflammation and small vessel damage in a very similar way. Alcohol is also worth addressing. Drinking heavily reduces your body's ability to absorb several vitamins that are critical for your eyes, particularly vitamin A and zinc. You do not need to eliminate anything completely, but if you are currently having more than 1 or 2 drinks per day, that is something genuinely worth reconsidering. Dr. Angelina's final thoughts. If you take away only one thing from today's video, I want it to be this: your eyes do not depend only on what your eye doctor does in the exam room. They also depend on what you put on your plate every single day at home. Science does not claim that eating right will cure every eye condition. But there is enough evidence to say clearly that eating right can meaningfully slow the rate of decline, and in many cases, even help recover some of what has already been lost. You do not need to overhaul everything at once. Start with one thing. Add a handful of spinach to your breakfast. Choose salmon over red meat for dinner twice a week. Keep a small bag of almonds on the counter to snack on instead of crackers. Changes that small do not require extraordinary willpower or major sacrifice, but over time they add up to something real. Your vision is one of the most valuable things that aging can quietly take away, and you deserve to protect it with the best that you can do. Whether you are 55, 60, or 65, it is not too late to start. In fact, right now is the most important time of all.